Hey folks, today I've got a really fun video. I think this is going to be really interesting. A couple weeks back, I published a 2-year owner review on my 2021 Ram 3500 dually. And if you didn't catch that, I'll put a card up above and a link in the description below. But in that video, I asked the question, are there any options that I would change, after 2 years? Is there anything I would spec differently in the truck? And I promise to do a future video. And so that's the purpose of today's video. But I also thought it would be really interesting to build out a 2024 model year and just see how things have changed maybe on some of the packages, but more importantly, the price, with all the inflation going on. And so that is the purpose of today's video. So I'm going to be going to the Ram build site. You can see I am on the 2024 model year. They've had the build configurator up for a couple months now on the 24s. And I'm going to basically price out and build my exact truck, and I'll let you know if there's any options that I would change. So again, I'm on the 2024 model year, and my truck is a base Laramie. It starts out as a Laramie. It is a 4x4, and it is a crew cab 8-foot box. So we're going to start with that particular truck there. And you can see already the initial starting price without any options whatsoever is $70,145 there, okay? Now I'm gonna flash up my window sticker real quick just for reference. If you wanna pause it, you can. I pretty much memorized my, my build, but I will keep it handy there in case I need to refer back. So let's just go down here and build it. First thing is the engine, of course, the 6.7 Cummins high output turbo diesel. Gotta do that one if you're gonna be doing any kind of towing whatsoever. And then, of course, that gets bundled with the Ison 6-speed right there. Then mine is a dually, so we're going to go ahead and bump that up to $14,000, and that will give you the dually in the back. I also did the 410 axle ratio. And again, guys, if you're going to be doing any towing, I highly recommend doing that. It's just going to give you a lot more towing in the end and a lot better acceleration too. Then as far as towing features go, now when I ordered my truck in 21, there was a trailer camera option, but it was a little bit different than it is now, and I skipped it at the time. I'd have to look into this a little bit more. My understanding is that it goes in the rear view mirror now, which is where I think it should go, but I'm not clear on whether you can, watch it the entire time while you're driving, or if it's, only, select moments. Plus, then you've got a wire you got to run, so I'd have to look into this one a little bit more, but I do think it is a step in the right direction as far as what Ram is trying to do there. On the suspension, I did the automatic leveling air suspension on the rear there, and I did several videos on this over the last couple years, but I really like this feature a lot. I think, again, if you're doing any kind of towing, fifth wheel, gooseneck, it's so nice to be able to just let the truck level itself out. My fifth wheel is a pin weight of about 4,400 pounds, and be able to let it sit level. You can even lower it about an inch on that alt level ride height. So it's a really nice feature there. I think that's well worth it. Then on the alternators, so on mine it came standard with a 220 amp alternator with the Cummins. You can see here on my build sheet here, it did not charge me any extra for that. So that might be a glitch on the build configurator, but it's only 145 bucks. You can see there. And this is one that I went back and forth on when I was building my truck in 21 as far as whether to pick the dual alternators, rated at 440 amps or just the single. And I opted for the 220 at the time because I was concerned about adding complexity into the, engine and the belt setup and everything. I researched this a little bit more afterward, and I think a lot of folks do it. They have no issues whatsoever in terms of complexity, reliability. So I think if you wanted dual alternators, now's the time to do it. Only $295 extra there, and that might come in handy if you're full time living in the RV and maybe you want to get a higher charge rate instead of the lower trickle charge. I think you'd have to do some other mods too, but I think this would help you facilitate it. Then on the fuel tank, highly recommend doing the 50-gallon. That's what I did. That's a game changer. You get over 500 miles while you're towing approximately, and unladen 750 or more. So that's really a nice feature to have there, especially from the factory. Then I did opt for the engine block heater. You can do a package down below. I'll show you here in just a minute, but I did opt for that, only 95 bucks. That way you can plug in if it's extra cold outside and get things heated up ahead of time. So let's look at the packages here, and this is where things have changed, I think, the most for the 2024 model year. Let's start out with the bed utility group. We'll just go in order here. So I did do that. That gives you the LED bed lighting, the little step on the corner, and the spray-in liner. So you're going to have to choose an equipment group here. I opted for the level 1 because I wanted to keep the 8.4 Uconnect. I like having a lot of physical buttons below. And, at the time, the 8.4 was really, I think, the way to go, because the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay on the larger 12-inch, it didn't fill the whole screen. It only filled the upper card. Now that's changed. My understanding is the Apple CarPlay is full screen now. I don't know about Android Auto though. So either way, you're pretty much forced with the new packages here. You can see down here, Laramie Level 1, it forces you to get that 12-inch touchscreen display. So basically, once you check the bed utility group, you're going to have to get this Level 1, which I think is a good buy. But again, you're going to lose that 8.4. And, at the time, I really liked the 8.4. I think now I could go either way. I mean, it is a bigger display. You lose some of the physical buttons, but they still do give you a lot of the buttons with the climate control off to the side there. Then here's that cold weather group I was mentioning where you get the engine block heater. But because I checked it up here, I skipped the cold weather group. I didn't need that extra vinyl grille that goes inside the engine bay there. All right, so here's that level 1 equipment group. You can see all the different things you get in there, and I think there's just a lot of value that you get in that level 1. And basically, you can see with the level 2, it is about $2,200 more approximately. You're going to get the Harman Kardon premium sound system. Some people like that, some people don't. You still get a really good sound system in Alpine. I think it's a 9-speaker with the level 1. And some people don't like the Harman Kardon. It's got a very different sound to it. I guess it's very pronounced is the best way to describe it. I've got it in a Durango SRT, and it's just different. But that is probably the biggest difference out of the two packages there. So again, if you're looking for that sound, definitely you could check up to the level B group there. But I think the level 1 is just fine. Then I did splurge and get the Night Edition. I don't think it was $4,000 at the time, though. Let's see. Let's go back to my window sticker. The Night Edition was, you can see $24.95. Let me zoom in there so you can see that a little bit better. $24.95. Wow. So, that price has really shot up compared to 2021. That is $1,500 more. For that Night Edition package. But I got to say, guys, it is a sharp looking package. And of course, now you do get the Sport Performance hood that was not available when I did mine in 21. I did do the protection group. I think that's a no-brainer for $145 to get a skid plate shield there. And then I highly recommend doing the safety group. You get, of course, the adaptive cruise control, the adaptive steering system, the forward collision warning plus, all that good stuff. Really think that's nice. It just reduces a lot of the fatigue when you're towing and everything. Then this was an option that was not available in 21 here, the tow mode digital rear view mirror package. And so this is new. I have a digital rear view mirror in mind, but it does not let me put any kind of camera or anything up there beyond the rear view mirror. My understanding is that if you get the wired camera and you hook it up, wired on your RV, you actually get to see it up here in the rear view mirror. So I think that's a really interesting package that I would probably select if I was building it all over again. You just got to figure out how you're going to run that wire so that it's not an eyesore on your RV. But I think that's a game changer, being able to see the rear of your fifth wheel or whatever you're towing and not have another display out on the dash there. Then let's see, for the towing technology group, I did this basic one here with the surround view camera system that gives you the 360 camera, and it gives you the cargo view camera. I think that's a must-have if you're going to be towing gooseneck or fifth wheel. You can see, though, they also have this new package, the Technology Plus group. And basically that gives you the digital rear view mirror. When I ordered mine, it just kind of came standard. I didn't get to choose the digital rear view mirror or opt for it. And that was kind of a bonus that I wasn't expecting. But you also get this trailer reverse steering control. For me personally, I don't find that very helpful. You got to set that up. It's not just an automatic system. It gives you that knob, by your steering wheel or on the dash rather, that you can use to turn the trailer and it moves the steering wheel for you. but I really don't think that's super beneficial there. So I would skip this one here. You still get the side cameras with the surround view system, so I don't think you're really losing a lot right there. And then, of course, I went with the fifth wheel gooseneck towing prep group. That way you get the puck system in the bed there. So you can already see, look at our price up here. We are all the way up to $99,820, and we're not quite done yet, believe it or not. We still got a few more things to do. I opted for the granite crystal metallic on the color. I still really like that color. I think it's just a real classic color that ages nicely and doesn't clash with a lot of things there. All right, then as far as some other options here, you can separately order the stop lamp with the cargo view camera, but again, that comes with the technology towing group, so no need to add that separately. And then for the wheels, of course, it has the night edition wheels there, dual rear wheels. I did change my tires to the on off-road tires, this 17-inch here, just a small 245. Knowing what I know now, they give you, of course, Nexans, Rodians for the regular, and then Rodian AT for the all-terrain. And they're not the best tires. I had to replace mine premature, more so due to an alignment issue. But, for $245, I don't know, I might have skipped that and just went with the factory tires. And then, basically it's like getting a free tire if you upgrade to Falcon Wild Peaks like I did, saving that money there. Then on the running boards, I did opt for these flat cab length painted steps. I really like them. They look clean, and so I would do that again. I think it just makes it a little bit easier getting into the truck and if you need to get up to the roof or anything like that. And so let's see, that is almost all the options. For the interior, I really like the bench seat. You guys know I'm a bench seat fan, and so I kept it like that. I really think it's a functional thing. That way you get 6-passenger seating as well. And then you can see right here, again, this is the big change for the level 1 group on the Laramie, is that you no longer can get the 8.4. When you do that level 1, it forces you to get the 12.0. And again, I'm okay with that now. I think, there's some trade-offs for sure, but it is a nice big display. I did not do the sunroof, would not do that, just not a big fan of those in trucks. I did skip the rear floor mats and got WeatherTech instead. And then it's got this cluster with the 12-inch color display. So this is a new one too, actually. Mine just came with a 7-inch in the middle, so it had analog RPM and speedo, and then 7-inch in the middle. Now you can get a full digital dash, basically. I'm kind of indifferent on this one. I could go both ways. I do like the analog display, especially with RPMs. It's going to be more real time compared to something digital, but I think you can customize and do a lot more with the full digital display there. On the aux switches, I skipped those just because I didn't really have a use for them. And I actually like the toggle style buttons here. When you get the aux switches, this changes up here, these labels, to push buttons, basically. And then you've got the aux switches down below, but they're not kind of that toggle, style. It's more just a push button. And I like the feel of these buttons better. So I skipped that. And then really the only other option I did was this trailer tire pressure monitoring system. And if you want to add this to your trailer, now's the time to do it, because there's some kind of receiver that goes, I believe it's toward the back of the truck, that you got to have on the truck in order to put those TPMS sensors in your trailer tires. When you do it here as OEM, they also give you 4 sensors, so it saves you that as well. I have heard of guys that have retrofitted their trucks that didn't have this feature, and it is possible, but I think doing it at OEM is the time to do it. And then again, here's that tow mode camera, for $600. It's not a bad price when you think about it, because the Furrion wireless cameras, oftentimes with the display and everything, they're right up there, $400, $500, $600. So I think that's something I would definitely look into. You just got to figure out how you're going to run that wire to the back so it's not an eyesore. So yeah, I think those are all the options. Again, guys, check me. I'll put my window sticker up here and just scroll through it real quick. You guys make sure that I didn't leave anything out, but I believe this truck here is verbatim to my truck, of course, minus the 12-inch Uconnect display, which is you got to have that. It's mandatory now for level 1. All right, so that is my truck, guys. all over again for 2024. And look at the final price, $101,305. Wow. I mean, this is only basically 3 model years later than mine. My truck looks pretty much the same as this truck here, except for the sport hood and, of course, the mirrors. They've got new towing mirrors. Everything else is pretty much verbatim. Y'all point out if there's any other differences. I do know they have changed the wheel well trim a little bit for the Laramie trim level. And this is kind of interesting. They left it on the rear for a dually, but they took it off on the front. That is one thing that's missing here in 2024. So mine has the trim on the front and the back. I really think that makes it look a little bit sharper there. But it looks like Ram is only doing that fender trim on the Limited, the Longhorn, the higher trim levels now. If you get a single rear wheel, the trucks that I've seen don't have it on the rear either. So that's kind of an interesting change. But I mean, otherwise, this is basically the same exact truck that I ordered in 21, minus those differences that I already pointed out. And look at the price difference. I mean, this is nuts. $101,305. Let me flip back to my Windows sticker here, and you can see on mine $83,240. Okay, so let's just calculate the difference here. So we've got 101,000 it was, and 305 minus, we're gonna go back to my Windows sticker, minus 83,240. That is over $18,000 difference, $18,065 difference between the 2021 model year and the 2024 model year. That is crazy. I mean, I know inflation has taken place, but over $18,000 difference between a 2021 and a 2024. I mean, you are getting a few more things that, you know, are mandatory now based on my option level that I selected, but still $18,000 more. So let me know what you guys think about that. And, you know, maybe you can negotiate some off the total of that. In today's market, you know, things are a little bit tense, but I think the pricing is cooling down as far as, you know, dealers giving some discounts off of MSRP. And, you know, every dealer is going to be different. So I'm sure there still are some out there charging MSRP or above MSRP, but I would imagine there are quite a few that are still giving discounts. Let us know in the comments below, though, what, you know, if you bought or ordered your truck recently, how much of MSRP off did you get? Did you pay MSRP or did you pay invoice? Did you pay $10,000 under MSRP? I think that'd be really helpful for everybody watching here. But I hope you found this video helpful. I think it just kind of demonstrates how inflation has really impacted cars a lot in the last few years. But guys, I still think this is a really solid choice in the heavy-duty truck space. And, you know, although Chevy and Ford, I think, have caught up in many ways over the last few years, I still think the Cummins and the Ison paired together really are what makes this truck so appealing. So anyways, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. As always, thanks for watching.